non-witness, current or new from the office.
Good morning, Chair, and good morning, everyone. My name is Lucky Alvara from ICT Department.
Thank you once again, Chairperson. Good morning to all the members of Parliament and members of the committee. My name is Brian Kasara, Chief Electoral Officer, Electoral Commission of Zambia. I will allow my colleagues to introduce themselves.
Good morning, Chair, honorable members. My name is Clementina Mumo, Director of Finance and Good morning, Chair. Good morning, honorable members of Parliament. My name is Leonard Mamba. I'm Acting Director for ICT for the Commission.
Good morning, Chair. Good morning, members. I'm Roy Katongo, Director of Electoral Operations.
Good morning, Chairperson. Honorable members, my name is Teresa Puri, Commission Secretary.
Good morning, Chair. Honorable members, my name is Boris Yazana, Finance Manager. CEO, before we proceed with your presentation, I want to give you some assurance that as you appear for this committee, or indeed the parliamentary committee, you are protected under the of the laws of Zambia, which rights members of parliament immunity, and against the persecution for this involved affairs. This means that the information you give to this committee can be used against you outside the parliament or indeed in any court of law as well as distraction. Should you ever deliberately mislead, said law will be used against you in the courts of law. I have no doubt you don't intend to do that. My name is Dr. Chairman of this committee. CEO, proceed to do presentation, speaking to the key highlights, and we will be addressing some of the issues that was brought up after the policy presentation yesterday, and then we will get into the deeper issues. If you want us to anchor on the policy statement that was made yesterday, that will be very sufficient. We can proceed to seeking the policy clarification with that. I leave it to you, CEO.
Thank you once again, Chairperson. Indeed, I will seek the advice of the committee to anchor on the policy statement. Suffice to add that indeed the Electoral Commission of Zambia and the budget before the committee under head 05, the Electoral Commission of Zambia, is speaking to the 8th National Development Plan in terms of strategic development outcome number 4, which is good governance environment. And two specific areas there in terms of development outcome number 1, which is the strengthen democratic and political governance, and then under number 2, strengthen human rights and constitutionalism. Again, further to the policy statement yesterday, there are two main programs, Honorable Chairperson, under this head, that is election planning and rather elections management, and then management and support services. Chairperson, your committee might be aware that the Electoral Commission of Zambia is preparing to conduct the general election in 2026 and has since released a roadmap, and key activities therein for 2025 is the registration of voters. This is the key activity for 2025. Chairperson, let me remind your committee that starting 2022, the Commission has been conducting continuous registration, albeit in a limited number of districts. We started with 10 in 2022, added another 10 in 2023, and we need another 10 this year in June to make it 30, spread
equally among the provinces. So we have 3 districts in each province. Chairperson, this effort in itself is not adequate to capture all eligible citizens in time for the general election. It is for this reason that the Commission has planned to conduct what we're referring to as a mass mobile registration, where we will open all polling stations countrywide on a mobile basis, so that we're as close to the people as possible to register voters in readiness for 2026. In terms of the other programs in this respect, is that, as usual, the Electoral Commission does provide in planning for any by-elections that might occur as required by law. So a budget provision has been provided in that respect. And also, the Commission is in the process of constructing a warehouse, and given that it is a capital project, this started and will continue into 2025 and has been provided. So in terms of the overall highlights, Honorable Chairperson, I think those are the key ones I would like to point out to. But before you are the explanatory notes, Honorable Chairperson and the committee members, which, if there are any clarifications that need to be provided, can be granted. Chairperson, I submit. Thank you.
Thank you very much, CEO. Would appreciate if that summary of the presentation is submitted to Secretariat. Members are free to seek areas of clarification on the budget and the Electoral Commission of Zambia. Honorable Anakoka.
Thank you very much, Chair. Thank you very much, CEO, for that brief presentation. In the electoral planning and process management, where we have this huge increase, it's good to note that the issue of registering voters next year is being highlighted there as one of the key activities you want to carry out, and that's appreciated. But I want to find out whether the non-mention or not so much focus is being put or made of procurement of materials for the actual elections in 2026. I'm saying this, Chair, because previously we had a situation where ECZ was procuring materials at gunpoint in one of the elections. In fact, I do remember one of the audit queries where some materials were airlifted from America to Zambia for elections and were not even distributed for use in that particular elections. And that's how it found itself in that issue found itself in the report of the Auditor General. So specifically my question is, are we procuring materials for 2026 in 2025, or that is excluded from what you are doing here? You are going to plan for 2026 in 2025 when you do a 2026 budget. I hope I'm clear on that. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much, Honorable Anakoka. Honorable Kambita.
Indeed, it's. I've got 2 questions, Honorable Chairperson. The first one is I wanted the Electoral Commission CEO to pinpoint whether the finances that have been allocated for the mobile voter registration are adequate to cater for all the polling stations. I know you've got your finance person here with you. You must have done your costings before you could come up with the figure. And you make these submissions to the Minister of Finance. But have you been financed adequately? That information is important for us because we want to see adequate financing of this institution so that when we reach at that time, we don't have these excuses to say, no, they can't, they can't stay in this number of days in this area. Do you have any issues which could have come up due to constraints where they maybe gave you feedback to say, no, you can't go beyond this. We can only manage to finance such. And yet in your plans, you have planned, for instance, to do this number of days in Katonto polling station, Zambezi East, and you are being constrained because of budget issues. I want to categorically know whether you have had such challenges so that we know on how to take on the Minister of Finance. 1. 2. I've seen, of course, in line with Honorable Nakoka's submission, I don't see any capital amounts allocated to capital expenditure here, apart from on the ICT. I've seen what you've allocated here is mainly to, when you put your narrative here, you're talking about licenses, renewal of licenses and the like. But I'm not seeing something to the effect that you're going to procure probably equipment that you need. And I know election management requires, there is a lot that goes into your high power users in terms of ICT. Most disputes at the end of the day, especially on the presidential elections, arise from transmission of results and how the data is electronically handled. So I'm not seeing a serious allocation here, and yet this is just a year before the final election year. So I'll need a comment from you. We are raising this to Honorable Chair because this is the only opportunity we have to debate these budgets. So these issues need to be cleared, especially with them in sight.
Honorable Kambita, you are on firm ground. You're pushing an open door. Honorable Mapani.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, last year, the ECZ was supposed to do delimitation of some of the constituencies, and they gave a reason that they didn't have enough cash, enough cash. Now, I want to find out whether the delimitation exercise has been funded in this year's budget. If yes, how much? CEO, next year's budget.
CEO, those are the questions from the people of Zambia. The members of this committee are representing the people of Zambia who would like to have credible elections, who have reposed trust and confidence in your institution to conduct credible elections. And use this opportunity, as Honorable Kambita says, to clarify all the activities that you are put in your budget to conduct, and if there are indeed any questions that have arisen from various stakeholders and you want to use this opportunity to clarify them within the framework of this budget. CEO, please respond to that ballpark of questions.
Thank you, Honorable Chairperson. I'll start with the first question regarding preparations for the 2026 general election and provision for procurement of materials and equipment for the elections. Honorable Chairperson, I think what the Honorable Member was referring to is indeed on record, and this arose largely due to the COVID-19 pandemic and some processes leading to the 2021 general election. Some procurements were very late. However, I wish to assure your committee that whereas there is no funds specifically for procurement of materials for the 2026 general election in this budget, the committee wish to note that given the program of Parliament, our expectation is that around this time next year, Parliament would have approved the 2026 budget, and therefore procurement processes will start in 2025. However, deliveries of those materials will be early 2026, and therefore budgets allocated as such. So whereas there's no figures, but from a planning perspective, wish to assure your committee that we provided for us to commence procurement early so that we are in time. The committee may wish to note that we are currently, for example, running a tender for ballot papers, which will cover the 2026 general election, as an example of the forward planning that we are doing in this respect.
CEO, could you reconcile your position?
Yes.
When you say you begin procurement processes for 2026 and 2025,
yes.
And then you've just said you're running a tender, for 2026 ballot papers. Could you just reconcile your position on that?
The tender in respect is a multi-year contract, so it covers by-elections in the intervening period, but then the 2026 general election. So clearances were obtained from the ZPPA, so that was a specific special case, so that then the Commission is rest assured that we are ready for 2026. So I gave that as an example, Honorable Chairperson, so that the committee can rest assured. So in terms of 2024 and 2025, what is provided for that particular tender is for printing of ballot papers for by-elections. Thank you.
Proceed.
Yes. In terms of the Honorable Kamita's question around the adequacy of the funding provided, Chairperson wish to indicate that the budget that has been provided for mass registration in 2025 is $1.1 billion kwacha to the Treasury, and this was acknowledged, and the Treasury assured the Commission that they will continue to source funds to support this particular program. However, given the fiscal space while preparing this budget, the amount indicated in the budget was provided. But we have that assurance that the extra funds will be sourced and duly, through the necessary channels, allocated to this exercise. Yeah. In terms...
There's a follow-up question from Honorable Kambita.
Just to specify, out of 1.1 required, how much have you been given? Just guide me.
We've been allocated 250 million. Yes.
Proceed, CEO.
Thank you. Of the IC my earlier submission, Honorable Chairperson spoke to the same, that the requirements will be provided for in the 2026 budget. However, for those with long delivery lead times, the procurements will begin in 2025 upon approval of the budget. Now, in terms of 2025, you will note that for purposes of budget categorization, the same line under the first program, elections management and election planning and process management, does include a component of equipment and technological tools to facilitate us, for example, for 2025, facilitate the registration of voters. For the Commission to undertake this mandate. Honorable Chair, Constitution stipulates that Zambia shall have 150 constituencies. So 156. Yeah. So, Chairperson, your committee may also wish to note that the Electoral Commission of Zambia is currently spearheading electoral reform process, which is already beginning to receive submissions around delimitation and the requirements to review constituencies. Yeah. Now, for purposes of the budget next year, I'll ask the Director of Finance to give an exact figure, but there is about 2 million kwacha plus that has been provided for in the 2025 budget for delimitation. Suffice to say, this will cater for relocations and renaming and streamlining of polling stations. However, the main what was referred to in terms of the constituencies, this is dependent on constitutional amendment, as it were, so that then the Commission can proceed to implement the new boundaries as provided for in terms of Article 58 around the delimitation criteria. Chair, I submit, as asked Director of Finance to just give the exact figure around delimitation for 2025. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, CEO. Chairperson, the amount that was allocated for delimitation, as indicated by CEO, is only 2 million, which is earmarked for the renaming and relocation of some polling stations. We are not going a step ahead to do wards and other higher delimitations. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much. Follow-up questions, Honorable Anakoka.
Thank you, Chairperson. CEO, let me take you to legal services. I think that's sub-program 027. I note here that under this sub-program you are talking about review of electoral regulations and resolutions of minor electoral conflicts. In our previous interaction with yourselves, an impression was created that ECZ strongly felt kind of suffocated in the manner you were classified with what I would call everybody else, by virtue of the unique mandate that you hold. And to that effect, there was a feeling, that is from yourselves again, that you being answerable to the PFMA Act and the other oversight regulations, including the ZPPA for procurement, was making it difficult for you to perform your responsibilities, given the nature like you do. And if not whether since then you have taken any measures to bring to the attention of the executive the suggestions that you had in order to review your founding act so that you can be given some leeway, because I don't see you under legal services here mentioning anything to do with the review of any of your acts, in specifically actually your founding act as an institution. So does it mean you have abandoned that view, or we will only get to hear about it when there are audit queries again? Thank you, Chair.
To find out whether the auction of the vehicles were auctioned. Saying at the moment only 60% of the vehicles are roadworthy. So I just want to find out whether there is still an intention to auction others if that act was not passed yet. I submit.
CEO, could you respond to those questions?
Thank you, Honorable Chairperson. Chairperson, your committee may note that the 2025 budget is silent on the electoral reform that has since constituted a reform technical committee that is not only looking at policy in addition to a desk missions from members of the party starting next week in the respective provincial capitals of the country. Next week, I think the committee will be in Eastern Province, that is in Chipata District, Luapula Province in Mansa, and Northwestern Province in Solwezi. And then the rest will follow until the end of October. Chairperson, a national submission process will also be undertaken in November, and stakeholders at national level will be informed in advance and invited to make submissions. So the Commission, as part of the terms of reference for this committee, will put together the recommendations and, where possible, draft bills and submit the same to the Ministry of Justice for forward processing into a possible enactment of laws to streamline some of these processes. So the Commission is addressing those concerns, but beyond that also, that even administratively, we continue to engage with the Zambia Public Procurement Authority and indeed the Treasury around ourselves being compliant, but also the processes being responsive where emergencies do occur in the management of elections. Because sometimes the lead times are quite short. For example, for by-elections, we only have a 90-day period in which to turn around all the activities. So those consultations and engagements are ongoing over and above what I've indicated around the electoral reforms. I will ask our Commission Secretary to just support my submission, the Chairperson, and thereafter ask our Director of Finance to speak to the auction cell. Thank you.
Support the CEO's submission, Commission Secretary, or dissupport it?
Chairperson, I think the CEO has explained what is currently ongoing in terms of the electoral reforms in view of the committee that has been established. And soon, Chairperson, you'll hear of the public sittings that will be taking place in all the 10 provincial centers. Thank you, Chairperson.
Could you use this opportunity to clarify the basis, the legal basis for the formation of that, establishment of that commission? Are you on terra firma or have you breached the law?
Chairperson, the commission is on terra firma, as you have indicated. We have Section 7 of the Electoral Commission Act that mandates the commission to come up with committees. These committees can receive submissions as they will receive submissions from the provinces. So we are within the law, Chairperson.
What will follow after you collect the submissions?
Chairperson, once the provincial centers are done, there will be another sector group meeting where identified sectors will be consulted. For instance, I think members of parliament can be consulted on their own because of the unique needs they may have. And then law enforcement agencies will also be consulted, and other sectors who have different needs. After that, there'll be a report, and then we'll have the bills, and then there'll be a validation of those bills and the report. Thank you, Chairperson. Lastly, the bills will be submitted to the Ministry of Justice.
I think it's extremely important that you go to that length, because the perception that's been created is that you and CEO Kasam have taken over, you've usurped the powers of the would-be, of the powers that be, to make your own laws. So it's very important that you clearly indicate the legal basis, the background, or what you're anchoring on to form that committee, and what its terms of reference are, and what will follow. And extremely important that the process of legislation remains intact, is adhered to, and the public is assured that there is no deviation from the normal process of stakeholder consultation, validation, then coming up with the bills through the legislative committees at Ministry of Justice and to Parliament before anything is done. So I think that should be clear, committee. Amakoka.
A quick follow-up. In fact, I'm happy you got clarity in terms of the process. But I wanted to find out if the ECZ team at this stage is in a position to give an indication of some of the key changes that are on the table, even as you are consulting, because they had hinted at some of the things, as I mentioned them earlier. For example, the issue to do with procurement, so that this committee can be given a heads up, because after all, it will be this same committee's support that you will need when the time comes. So are you in a position to give us a heads up, or you would rather wait until everything is packaged in what you say? It's a public submissions. Thank you, Chair.
What transformation are you pursuing?
Thank you, Chair. I think we are as Honorable Atakuka has already, I think, indicated. The Commission would not like to preempt, but rather receive the submissions. And in the context of the committee, Chairperson, let me also indicate that this is an independent committee, and we also have representation from the Zambia Law Development Commission and the Ministry of Justice. So it's an independent committee, and the Electoral Commission itself will also submit the issues that we face around the conduct of elections and the policies or indeed legal changes that we'd like to see in the electoral process for further development. So in terms of some of the highlights, maybe I would ask Commission Secretary to speak to. Yeah, but I think in terms of the overall, we're saying we're also a stakeholder, like everyone else who submit to the committee. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Yes, you can. Any additions?
Yes, Chairperson. The committee mainly will receive the submissions, and then the issues will be identified and isolated. So it's the same topical issues that come out in the submissions, that is the delimitation, electoral system, but I can't go into details because we have not received a lot of submissions. It would be preempting the process. Thank you, Chairperson.
Well, yes, you want to add some more? Yeah.
Yes, Chairperson, just to with your indulgence, just to take advantage and also just clarify that the public engagements are only starting this coming next week, Monday. Yeah, so as indicated earlier, the public sittings of the committees will only start this coming Monday, and as indicated, we're starting with 3 provinces: Eastern, Luapula, and Northwestern. And thereafter, towards the end of next week, they will move to Southern, Northern, and the Copperbelt province. Then in the 3rd week of October, we'll be sitting in the Western province, Central province, and Muchinga province. So that is then either the last week of October or first is Lusaka as a province. Then thereafter, that's when the national engagements will be undertaken. Thank you.
CEO, as you wrap up, I would like you to assure this committee that even with the inadequacy of your budget, you're going to sufficiently address all the activities or implement all the activities that you've put in your budget. And if that won't be possible, would you make it clear to this committee that you need more resourcing to do continuous voter registration, to do what is within your jurisdiction in terms of delimitation, and to conduct elections as and when they arise? Furthermore, I would want you to clarify how much you are embracing technology to improve your efficiencies in election management, noting that you have not sufficiently increased your budget in that ICT component. As you wrap up, would you address those?
Thank you, Honorable Chairperson, for the opportunity once again. As earlier submitted in response to one of your members, the honorable members' question, from where we stand as the Electoral Commission of Zambia, mass voter registration in preparation for 2026 general election requires additional funding. What has been provided for is not adequate. Yeah, for us to reach all the 12,152 polling stations in the period that we have earmarked, 60 days in the 2nd quarter into 3rd quarter of 2025, so that we get as close to the people as possible. So that is our submission and appeal through your committee, Chair. In terms of the other programs, in the event that there is a review of the necessary laws around the number of constituencies, the Commission will also require additional funding to undertake constituency delimitation. In terms of technology, Honorable Chairperson, the Commission has embraced technology, and in this budget, as indicated, notwithstanding the earlier submission around inadequacy of the same, the voter registration budget for 2025 includes equipment, ICT equipment, to facilitate the registration of voters. In this respect, Chair, your committee may wish to appreciate that the Commission has adopted what is called biometric registration, so where we capture not only just the names and other details of the registered voters, but of the applicants, but also capture their fingerprints for purposes of ensuring that there is comprehensive deduplication, so that as we produce the final register of voters, it is a register that every voter only appears once to vote in one polling station. Other aspects of technology in terms of the registration of voters is that we avail an online facility for pre-registration. We're calling it pre because as prescribed at law, registration can only be completed in person. So the online one is a pre-registration to reduce on the queuing and encourage the young generation to register as voters. So they will log into our online platforms, complete their details, and then when they show up at the registration center, their time is reduced for them to collect their voters' cards. Then also at the point of inspection, I think the accuracy of the register of voters, besides the deduplication I referred to, is also anchored on public scrutiny of the documents. So this is provided for at law by requiring the Commission to publish the register of voters for inspection over a period. What we have learned from experience is that physical inspection has not garnered a lot of turnout, much as we do a lot of publicity. So as such, we're adopting technology in this respect to provide for online, but also for even those of our citizens or those of the registered voters that do not have access to the internet through the USSD. So simple, on an average mobile phone, you dial a short code and they will be able to verify all their details on the register of voters. With those interventions, Honorable Chairperson, we see that there will be increased turnout in terms of the inspection and thereby enhanced accuracy of the register of voters. Going into 2026 itself, as we will provide for that next year as earlier indicated, we'll continue to enhance the results transmission processes so that this can be as transparent in terms of information sharing at every stage of the process and as quick as possible so that we reduce on the time of the declaration, especially of the presidential election. Chair, I submit. Thank you.
CEO and your team, thank you very much for making an appearance before this committee. Waging peace through elections. A credible electoral cycle is an inexplicable component of a functional democracy. Yours is a sacred function. This committee stands ready to work with you in support of your budget, and should you have any further submissions as we process this budget, be at liberty to engage us through Secretariat, and we've taken note that you will only be able to function in line with your mandate if you are sufficiently resourced. And we shall engage various stakeholders to ensure that we start inculcating a sense of credibility in the electoral process by doing things right. Let's finance this electoral cycle sufficiently. We thank you so much for coming through today, and we wish you well. At this point in time, I withdraw the immunity we conferred on you at the beginning, and we hope to engage with you in due course. Just don't forget to go to the islands where Honorable Nyemba comes from, so as well as some serious concerns she has.
Good morning, live broadcast there of the sector budget analysis for the 2025 national budget that was presented by the Minister of Finance and National Planning, Dr. Stumbe Sokotwane, last week on Friday. And you've just been watching the Committee on Parastatal Bodies being led by and they were considering Head 5, that's the Electoral Commission of Zambia. On live commentary, I'm Claudette Sindaza Jonga.
Good morning, and my name is Matimba Mkua. Like my colleague mentioned, to say members of parliament and other stakeholders are scrutinizing the 2025 national budget that was presented by the Minister of Finance and National Planning. And so still to come, we expect the Minister of Home Affairs and Internal Security to deliver a policy statement on Head 10, which is Zambia Police Service Commission.
We also expect Head 7 to be considered. That's the office of the Auditor General, and of course after that we're able to fill in on what the next committees will be. Just to mention that the committee sittings at Monogushi International Conference Center, we're also broadcasting committees on Parliament Radio. So if you're not able to watch us, you can always tune in to Parliament Radio. The committee that is being considered currently on Parliament Radio is a committee on health, community development and social services. And so we're standing by for the next witness, as we have the Committee on Parastatal Bodies considering different heads. So far they've considered one head, that's Head 5, that's the Electoral Commission of Zambia, and we did have the CEO of the Commission of the Electoral Commission of Zambia, that's Mr. Brian Kasaro. Like my colleague mentioned, we still looking forward to Head 10, that's the Zambia Police Service Commission, and Head 7, that's the Office of the Auditor General. Matimba?
And so we'll be able to give you updates on what will be happening in various committees. Just now we go on a break as we stand by for the next witness to appear before this committee.
Good morning, Honorable Minister, and good morning to the team from the Zambia Police Service Commission and the Office of the Vice President. You're welcome to the meeting of the Parliamentary Committee on Parastatal Bodies, that is considering Head 10 on Office of the Vice President, Zambia Police Service Commission. We will begin our deliberations this morning with a round of introductions from the committee, then from your team, and thereafter we'll proceed with your policy statement. As you all are aware, in line with our Standing Orders 168, the sector budgets or budgets on particular heads will be presented to committees that have been assigned by the Speaker. So the Speaker assigned the Committee on Parastatus to consider Head number 10. And so after the Parliament adjourned last Friday, we have the Speaker assign a number of heads to various committees. So this committee today is considering Head 10, Zambia Police Service Commission, and we'll be listening to a police statement from the Minister of Home Affairs. That's just a way of giving a background to what we're doing today. Let's begin with a round of introductions. Honorable Kambita.
Thank you very much, Chairperson. Good morning, Honorable Minister and the team. My name is Brian Kambita, Member of Parliament for Zambezi East constituency in Northwestern Province.
Through you, Chair. Good morning, Honorable Minister. I'm Mono Mapani, Member of Parliament for Namala constituency.
Good morning, Chair. Good morning, Honorable Minister. My name is Muvita Anakoka, Member of Parliament for Luena constituency in Western Province. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. Good morning, Minister, and good morning, everyone. Member Julian, Member of Parliament for Chifunabuli constituency, and I'm a member of this committee. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Chair. Good morning, Honorable Minister, with your team. My name is Vuma Gusmali, Member of Parliament for Zambezi West constituency in the Northwestern Province. Thank you.
Good morning, Honorable Minister. I'm Mutinta Masoka, nominated member. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. Good morning, Minister. Karen Dot is my name from the Office of the Clerk.
Good morning, Honorable Minister. My name is Mr. Pizzerot Kateshi from the Office of the Clerk.
Good morning, Chair, and good morning, Honorable Minister. My name is Lucky Halugala from the IT Department.
Honorable Minister, please proceed to introduce your team.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Honorable members, my name is Jack Mwimbu, MP for Monze and Minister of Home Affairs and Internal Security. I'm accompanied by a number of officers from my ministry and from the Vice President's office. May I ask my officers to introduce themselves?
Good morning, Chair. Good morning, Honorable members. My name is Angelina Chandamukuka. I'm the Commission Secretary of the Zambia Police Service Commission. Thank you.
Morning, Chair. Good morning, members of Parliament. My name is Dominic Matale. I'm Acting Director at Department of Research and Planning, Ministry of Home Affairs and Internal Security.
Good morning, Chair. Good morning, Honorable members. My name is Alex Mokesi. I'm the Principal Planner and the Personal Assistant to the Minister of Home Affairs and Internal Security.
Yeah.
Sorry. Good morning, Chair. Good morning, Honorable Members of Parliament. My name is Piri Gerard. I'm Head Corporate Services under Zambia Police Service Commission. Thank you.
Good morning, Chair. Good morning, honorable members. My name is Boniface Jerry. I'm accountant, Zambia Police Service Commission.
Honorable Minister, we are used to appearing before the police and not the police appearing before us. We like the change today and would like to assure you as a witness that as you appear before this committee or indeed any other parliamentary committee of Parliament to assist in the deliberations before it, you are protected under Cap 12 of the laws of Zambia, which grants members of Parliament immunity against prosecution for what they say while in the House. This means that the information you give to this committee cannot be used outside Parliament for prosecution or in any case of court of law for as long as it is factual. However, if you say anything that is not factual, the same law will be used against you. That is, if you willfully misinform the committee. I have no doubt this is not your intention. Honorable Minister, my name is Dr. Chitalu Chulufia. I'm chairman of this committee. I invite you now to make your policy statement.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Honorable members, I also want to bring it to your attention that I'm presenting this policy statement on behalf of the Vice President, because this particular commission falls under the Office of the President. So I'm making it on behalf of the Vice President. Mr. Chairman, honorable members, I wish to thank you for according me the opportunity to present the 2025 budget estimates for the Zambia Police Service Commission. The mandate. Chairperson, the Zambia Police Service Commission is a constitutional and statutory body mandated to provide human resource services to the Zambia Police Service, established under Article 226 of the Constitution of Zambia, as amended by Act Number 2 of 2016. The Commission is responsible for ensuring that appointments, confirmations, promotions, transfers, regradings, attachments, secondments, discipline and separation of personnel in the Zambia Police Service and the National Immigration Department are done in accordance with the prescribed guidelines and procedures. Cabinet Office Circular Number 101 of 2023, dated 10th October 2014, extended the Commission's mandate to the Department of Immigration. Mission Statement. Chairperson, the work of the Commission is guided by the following mission statement: to provide effective human resource services to the Zambia Police Service and Department of Immigration for a crime-free society. Functions of the Commission. Chairperson, the Zambia Police Service Commission is charged with the responsibility of human resource management in the Zambia Police Service, as provided for in the Constitution Amendment Act Number 2 of 2016 and the Service Commission Act Number 10 of and the National Immigration Department as contained in the Cabinet Office Circular Number 101 of 2023, dated 10th October 2014. The Commission's budget for 2025 is premised on Strategic Development Area Number 4 of the 8th National Development Plan, which focuses on ensuring that there is an improved policy and government environment. Overview of our 2024 budget performance. Chairperson, the Commission was allocated a total of 24,929,728 kwacha only. Of this, 13,494,435 was for personnel emoluments and 11,435,293 for goods and services. This was funded to execute highlighted programs as follows: governance and standards. The Commission conducted tours to hear appeals from officers, sensitize police and immigration officers on human resource management reforms, inspect the infrastructure, and get first-hand information on the conditions the officers operate in during the period under review. The Commission toured 2 provinces, namely Northern and Northwestern provinces. The Commission launched the 2023 to 2026 strategic plan and developed the service charter and balance scorecard for the Commission in line with the 8th National Development Plan. We sensitized police and immigration officers on processes and procedures on handling complaints and appeals in the Police Service and Immigration Department. Processed 78 appeals and disciplinary cases in the Police Service and Immigration. Human Resource Management. The Commission successfully worked on a total of 1,475 cases from January 2024 to date, among other cases attended to by the Commission. Appointed 469 with 307 immigration assistants and 102 border guards in the National Immigration Department. Confirmed 322 officers in the Police Service and National Immigration Department. Separated 313 officers from the Police Service and National Immigration Department. Transferred 200 to the National Immigration
department. Just one officer from the police service. Budget estimates for 2025. Chairperson, the commission has been allocated a total amount of 26,546,388 kwacha only in the 2025 estimates of expenditure. The Zambia Police Service Commission functions are performed through 3 key programs. 1, governance and standards. This comprises 4 sub-programs with the critical role of enhancing monitoring and evaluation to ensure compliance to set standards, guidelines and regulations. The Commission will sensitize police and immigration officers on human resource management reforms and on the revised terms and conditions of service, disciplinary code and grievance handling procedures. The Commission will develop human resource management procedures for the Department of Immigration. The Commission will continue to computerize records and procure 1 motor vehicle. The program estimate is at 6,699,770 kwacha only. The sub-programs are as follows: standards, guidelines and regulations. 2, discipline, complaints and appeals. 3, record management. 4, monitoring and evaluation. 2, human resource management is responsible for implementing human resource management reforms, establishment of human resource management committees, and capacity building for effective and efficient processing of delegated human resource functions. The program estimate is at 10,262,533 kwacha only. The sub-program is human resource management. Management and support services. This is meant to undertake timely and effective provision of management and administrative support services to ensure smooth operations of the Commission. The program will involve the implementation of the 2023-2026 strategic plan. The program estimate is at 9,584,085 kwacha only. The sub-programs are as follows: 1, executive office management. 2, human resource management and administration. 3, procurement management. 4, planning, policy and coordination. In summary, the Commission operational budget estimates for 2025 amount to 26,546,388 kwacha only, on which the above mentioned programs will be undertaken. In conclusion, Mr. Chairperson, the budget estimates and the proposed programs will greatly contribute to the attainment of good governance. I therefore urge this August House to approve the 2025 estimates of expenditure for the Commission as presented. Mr. Chairman, honorable members, I wish to thank you most sincerely for listening to my submission.
Honorable Minister, we are profusely grateful for your succinct submission of the policy statement on Head 10 on behalf of the Vice President. Honorable members of Parliament, members of this committee, are now at liberty to make interventions and seek points of clarification on the policy statement that the Minister has issued. Honorable Member.
Thank you, Chair. Minister, on human resource and management, according to your submission, you have been allocated 9,500,000. Then the sub-programs which are to be undertaken under this same amount of money. Is this money sufficient for your Commission to carry out all these sub-programs that you've underlined here? Or is it enough? Because when you go around the police or stations, when you look at the executive office management, human resource, procurement management, you find some of our officers, they don't have even tables, chairs to sit. Is this money enough which has been allocated to your Commission? Thank you, Chair.
Honorable Mazuka.
Just saying, as a rider to honorable members, how much did you budget for as a commission? Just that.
What Ma'am is asking for there is, was this your submission? Was this your request? And you were funded according to your faith? Or were you undercut? Honorable Mapani.
Thank you, Chair. Through you, Chair, to the Minister. Minister, looking at the structure that you have currently, do you have enough personnel to ensure that the Commission is managed to capacity? I submit.
Thank you. Honorable Kambita.
Thank you very much, Chairperson. Honorable Minister, just out of curiosity, I know this vote falls under the Office of the Vice President, and I noticed that the team you've come with is rightfully, of course, with officers from the Vice President. But I'm just wondering why that the team you've come with does not include the commissioners themselves, because they're the ones who are going to be implementing this budget. So we have technocrats here, but without the commissioners, there will be that miss for them. They need to get involved from the outset because they're the ones who are going to consume this budget. So I wanted to find out why that there is not even a single commissioner in your team.
Honorable Minister, you may respond to that ballpark of questions.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, honorable members. I want to state that the money that has been provided for in this year's budget is far from being adequate. You may be aware that whenever we are budgeting, whether it's the Commission or any other government department, we are given ceilings by the Minister of Finance. You cannot go above what you have been told to do, no matter how you would want to request for more funding. We have to work within the guidelines that have been given. The money which we have been given, as I indicated earlier, is far from being adequate. We have a number of activities which we intend to undertake, but we will not be able to do that because of the limited financial envelope which we have been given. We would want money to be provided, but due to the financial constraints the country is facing, we are not being given that leeway. Especially that this year we have been afflicted by the drought situation. Whatever money that is available, most of it is going towards the mitigation of the drought effects. So the money is not enough. The structure of the Zambia Police Service Commission is not fully implemented. We are seeking Treasury Authority to ensure that the vacancies that have not been filled are filled. As a result of the non-operationalization of the structure, we are having difficulties to operate as an institution. You may be aware that this particular institution was at one time called Zambia Police and Prisons Commission. It was thereafter split. We now have the Zambia Correctional Service Commission and the Zambia Police Service. When this commission was split, the assets were shared between the two commissions. As a result of that occurrence, the commissions, Zambia Correctional Service and Zambia Police Service Commission, are limping. We do not have the requisite resources and the assets to perform the functions. As of the situation currently obtaining. The offices where the Zambia Police Service Commission is operating from, it is a condemned building, the former Bank of Zambia building. So the commission hasn't got offices that are suitable for them to operate from. The issue of the commissioners not being present here is a structural arrangement. The one who is supposed to appear before your August committee is the controlling officer. And the controlling officer is the madam here, who is the commission secretary, on behalf of the commission. That is the arrangement that is currently in place. I don't know whether there is another question which I omitted. Maybe Honorable Mono, I may have omitted the question.
No, I think you covered it too.
Thank you.
Follow-up question from Honorable Kambita.
Just a follow-up question, Honorable Chairperson, as regards the response given by the Honorable Minister of Home Affairs and Internal Security. As a matter of internal policy for this committee especially, we arrived at a point where most of the witnesses appearing before us were having challenges in terms of submitting before us on issues to do with corporate governance. And we communicated through the clerking staff that whenever the controlling officers appeared before the committee, there was need for at least the person who is at the helm of corporate governance to appear with them. The reasons were simple, because whatever happened, whatever queries that came up with the controlling officer, they would simply say this was approved by the board or the commission. In this case, the board needed to be kept in the loop, and that's the reason why we request that those members accompany the controlling officers.
Your point is noted. Let me just provide some guidance that the Secretariat did invite specific portfolio officers to come and appear before it. And so in the case of the Commission, honorable members, the people were invited to appear before us were the Office of the Vice President, who was delegated to the Minister of Home Affairs, and under the Commission, it was only the Commission Secretary as a controlling officer who was invited. So we will deal with the matter internally, but for administrative purposes, the officers that have appeared, colleagues, are the ones that were invited for the sake of the budget analysis. Follow-up question, Honorable Anakoka.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Honorable Minister, for the policy statement. I know we will interact, I think, at some point with the Commission Secretary. I think it's tomorrow. But maybe can take advantage of the policy statement in which you, Honorable Minister, touched on issues to do with the welfare of members of the police as well as the Immigration Department. A little education on my part from yourself, Honorable Minister. How is the Commission working with the public, the Police Public Complaints Commission? Because I see issues to do with discipline here. Is there any, what's the arrangement? I'm kind of a little bit in the dark on that front. Whether there is some interface as to what comes from that institution, or maybe that institution no longer exists. I'm just seeking a bit more information. The second question I wanted to get some clarity on is, again, when you are talking about the conditions of your officers, is it your commission that also deals with remuneration and conditions of service, or is that being dealt with separately somewhere? I'm asking this because I'm mindful of situations where officers, for example, in my constituency in the Molonga district, all other departments, officers are getting rural hardship allowance, but officers for Zambia police do not get that allowance. So I just wanted to find out if we were to channel this issue, is it to yourselves where it should go, or is it directly to the minister, to the police, or the Minister of Home Affairs? Yeah, just a bit of policy clarifications there, Chairman. Thank you.
Thank you very much. The Honorable Minister, you could respond.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. There is a distinction between the Police Service Commission and the Police Complaints Commission. The Zambia Police Service Commission deals with the welfare of police officers as enshrined in the Constitution and the Zambia Police Service Commission. The Zambia Police Complaints Commission looks at complaints that emanate from members of the public pertaining to the conduct of individual police officers. Once a complaint is made to the Police Complaints Commission, the Complaints Commission will investigate. They will get evidence, if appropriate, from the Police Service Commission pertaining to the conduct of the police man or woman. They will also liaise with the Zambia Police Service in order to arrive at an informed decision pertaining to the misconduct that is alleged to against the policeman or woman. The other one, the Police Complaints Commission, acts like a court pertaining to the conduct of an individual. I can give you an example. If there is an allegation that a policeman did not conduct himself appropriately in a particular investigation, the matter will go to the Complaints Commission to look at that matter. And once a matter is determined that the policeman misconducted himself or herself, after the investigation is, they will make a recommendation to the Zambia Police Service and the Commission so that they can take appropriate action. If it's supposed to be an administrative, if it's a criminal, it's of a criminal nature after investigation, they will now direct the Zambia Police Service to institute criminal investigations against the office.
Honorable Minister,
the issue of hardship allowance, that issue is determined by ourselves as ministry and the Zambia Police Service. I'm aware that I don't know whether the Zambia Police Service will be appearing before you. Yeah. So those issues will be dealt with. There are conditions under the Cabinet Office which should be applied to all public officers. If you are working in a rural environment, there are conditions which apply. If they are not being paid, we'll look at it and then ensure that the officers are paid their hardship allowance.
Honorable Minister, a crime-free society is critical to national development, and the very development we are pursuing will only be realized if we invest sufficiently in internal security. And the committee is uncomfortable with the insufficient resourcing of the Zambia Police Service Commission, and we are of the view that innovative mechanisms to finance internal security must be put by the executive, so that this indispensable imperative that you have as government to provide internal security to shield the very development
that we are pursuing in the context of limited resources is realized. We also want to state, Honorable Minister, that this commission is so important, and as you rightly said, they look at the welfare of the officers. So in as much as we under governance talk about, how the police officers conduct themselves and ensuring that they do it in a professional manner, we're also concerned with a few incidents we see sometimes on social media where the police themselves are actually harassed by the public. And it would be good to hear how the Commission is investing in securing the welfare of these officers while they are on duty. And as we talk about insufficiency in our financing and modern policing, we would also like to get assurance that there will be mechanisms to ensure that re-equipment, of our police officers is enhanced through sufficient resourcing of this commission. As you wrap up, Honorable Minister, a few comments on that.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, honorable members. Mr. Chairman, you are apt. The issue of security is cardinal. You cannot entice or invite, investment in a country if there is no guarantee of security. We are doing everything possible, Mr. Chairman, to ensure that we provide for the Zambia Police Service and the Zambia Police Service Commission. Unfortunately, as I indicated, the resource envelope is very limited. We appeal to you as our honorable members of parliament to seriously consider and make recommendations that it is in our interest to ensure that the security wings, in particular Zambia Police Service and the Commission itself, is adequately funded to ensure that they provide the requisite services. We'll be looking forward to your support. I've been appearing before your sister committee. A similar question was raised to us. There was even a proposal once again that if possible, the constituency development fund, be used to provide, for the Zambia Police Service. We, on behalf of the Commission and the Zambia Police Service, we are amenable to that proposal. Obviously, it will not be adequate. All of us, live in communities. The police have very serious difficulties in responding to the pleas of the public pertaining to security. Fortunately, I have my colleague here, Honorable Kamshongo, who was the Minister of Home Affairs. He understands that the police have not been funded adequately. In certain situations, a police station is only given 70 liters of fuel, if not less, for them to operate. And in the constituencies, large constituencies like the one for Honorable Mono Mapani, 70 liters of fuel will finish in a day. Yet, the members of the public would want to be, assisted in a number of very, difficult situation. We have to balance, our needs as government and, society pertaining to the requirements of, the police service. In certain jurisdictions, security takes precedent. Because if you don't provide security, there will be disorder. And if there is disorder, you can't, do anything meaningful. So I hear you, Mr. Chairman. The issues you have raised, they are very cardinal. It's in the interest of the nation to ensure that we provide adequate security to the nation. Thank you so much, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister. I'll allow Honorable Kampiong to introduce himself and give him the privilege to say a few comments, being a former cop himself, political cop.
Thank you so much, Chairperson, and good morning, Honorable Minister. Stephen Kampiongo, MP Shulman constituents and a member of this committee. The chair wants me to say something. Well, I totally sympathize with your situation, Honorable Minister. But that being as it may, try to see how we can strive to decentralize the operations of the Service Commission. Because your men and women in uniform about these challenges of having their issues resolved because the commission is centrally located, and obviously in the absence of resources it will be difficult, but you can find a way of decentralizing the operations so that the staff, the human resource matters are resolved timelessly, and that especially the issues of discipline. You need to maintain a disciplined service so that the people of Zambia are saved, you know, are given the services that they require in terms of internal security. These efforts started, but again, like you have said, gets back to the resource envelope. But man has never been enough. At any given time, you can try and see what you can do to just get the Service Commission services available and closer to your officers. Maybe divisions. You can see how you can constitute some sort of committees that can then feed into the Police Service Commission. And one of the challenges, obviously, you know, what satisfies a man in uniform is how they progress in terms of rank, and it's been a historical challenge. There are people that have served more than 20 years as constables because they are probably not well, you know, documented, monitored from the time they started working. So that can be frustrating to the officers. I thought I could just make those few comments, Doc. Thank you.
Valuable comments. Honorable Minister may want to react to some of the issues brought up.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I agree with the sentiments that have been raised by my colleague, Honorable Kamchongo. We have undertaken a process of decentralizing. We have established a number of human resource committees at the province, and we are now eventually devolving the same to districts to ensure that the issues of the welfare of the officers, disciplinary matters can be addressed at those levels. That is being done.
Honorable Minister, I'd like to thank you and your team from Vice President's Office and the Commission for making an appearance before the Parastatus Bodies Committee to discuss Head 10. We will join you in advocating for improved resourcing for this very important head, as internal security is our indispensable obligation as a nation. Thank you so much for coming through. I now remove the immunity that on you. Go and work within the framework of the Zambia Police Service without our immunity. Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for still being with us on Parliament Television. The Minister of Home Affairs and Internal Security has made a policy statement on Head 10, which is the Zambia Police Service Commission. And just to make mention that this is a committee on parastatal bodies, and it is coming to you live in Fanyanga Mulikita committee room here at Parliament Buildings. And so just now we look at the head that has been considered.
Absolutely. So that's head 10, Zambia Police Service Commission, Office of the Vice President. Of course, my colleague, as I said, we did have a policy statement from the Minister of Home Affairs and Internal Security, Honorable, Jack Mimbu. He was actually doing it on behalf of our honor, the Vice President. And so the monies that have been allocated to this head, that's head 10, Zambia Police Service Commission, is 26,546,388 kwacha. That's for 2025. It's been an increase compared to the 2024 budget, which was allocated 24,929,729 kwacha. Matimba, what we have next?
And so we stand by for the next witness to appear before this committee. This is the Auditor General, in which they will be making their submissions on head 7, Office of the Auditor General. And so as we stand by for this witness to appear this committee, keep watching Parliament Television. Good morning.
You can now advertise on Parliament Television and